So you're basically a local now. How long have you been living out in the kind of edges of Northamptonshire?
This is my 3rd year.
Is it?
I haven't moved. I was always here.
Oh, are you?
I was always NN postcode.
So Daventry Waitrose then?
Possibly. I can't comment. Other shops are available. I have been seen in Tesco's and Aldi. Sometimes Lidl.
Lidl's very good.
Lidl is very good. My father informs me they've got a very good wine thing, but I haven't. I don't. I mean, I do like wine, but
good meat. Anyway, so coming to Northampton, the season after we've had pretty much everything go wrong. How's that feeling?
Well, it must have gone wrong if they signed me. I think for me it's good. Like, I obviously have no past history with the club other than a utmost respect for kind of the whole setup here. It was always a very difficult place to come and play, full of talented players. I always know the fans were very die-hard about their team and they absolutely love it. So for me it was pretty simple coming here. It was a great honour, I think, with all the new coaches and everything else. I've only got positivity to say about the place, so I'm very excited.
Were you sitting and kind of waiting to see what was happening after our kind of mid-season management nightmare?
I was only ever coming after the mid-season nightmare, so I didn't have any dialogue with any of the other coaches, so I probably wouldn't have been here if they were still here. I was only dealing with Chris when he was taken over, and it was kind of a relatively late deal.
Yeah. Just my husband actually did suggest to previous coach and they should get you in.
Oh, it's very kind of you, but no doubt they would have laughed in his face. Yeah, they would have done. That's perhaps why they're not here anymore. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, we'll leave that in. So how does it feel to be kind of coming up? Well, you probably haven't got much more of a commute than you used to have to Wasps anyway.
I'm actually a shorter commute here.
Is it?
There's just positivity. Everything about what you're asking me is just all ending in positive answers.
And the training regime, I mean, obviously you've been involved with the England setup. And the training regime, you've been part of the England setup. They're doing it deliberately just to wind me up.
Someone's fallen off his ladder.
It does sound a bit like that. How's the training regime? Is it, and I always get told, oh, we're playing more rugby. Oh, they're pushing us really hard. Tell me something that's not a cliche about pre-season.
Pre-season's horrible. It's just I haven't done one since I was 21. Hopefully I'll never have to do one again. It's a great opportunity to kind of bond with the guys through a bit of hard work. When you're kind of suffering together, you instantly kind of forge friendships and you find out a lot about people. We've done a bit of everything. We've had some challenges. We've had an NFL combine day. We've had a lot of rugby. That was a lot of testing. It was basically fitness testing disguised as NFL. They thought it would fool us simple rugby players, but we saw through it straight away. And we did obviously Saints got a long history, so we kind of introduced a new challenge, the Freddie Blackiston challenge. He's a very well-known kind of player who used to play, and he got the military medal or military cross, I think, for saving a lot of people's lives during World War I. So we did a kind of a challenge in his name, which Dan Bigger won.
What did that involve?
Again, it was kind of supposed to be a team challenge, but it was essentially a 7k run hidden amongst the team challenge, which again I did go to the ombudsman and complain that it wasn't really, but I was told to shut up.
Is this something that benefits the backs basically because they're all skinny?
Yeah. Listen, we did very well for everyone over 120 kgs. That was the kind of the we did our best. We tried our best, but obviously road running's not really. I'm not really about that life. Well, my team in itself were great for kind of pub fighting, lifting heavy objects, and moderate to mild humour.
Okay, moderate to mild, which is kind of we're sort of used to that already. As the season goes on, I mean, there's a kind of element of it can only get better. I suppose they could go down.
You're a ray of sunshine. I don't know. Funny, I don't know why.
This is what happens when you're a Saints
fan. No. We don't have any of that. It's all about positivity. It's all about enjoying it. Don't live and breathe through it.
Is there a difference with these? Because you've been on the England setup. Is there a difference when you've got people like Eddie and now Chris, the Southern Hemisphere guys, who, basically their toilet water goes the wrong way, so they think differently. Are they pushing you differently to how Northern Hemisphere coaches run the place?
I think we've obviously had Sam and Douse and Ferg for the entirety of pre-season. Obviously, Chris came over for one week before, and he's been over now kind of for a week and a half. So most of our influence has been through them. Obviously, he's feeding everything in as he is with his attention to detail.
Is he watching you?
You're always watched, I think, and I think his attention to detail is second to none. It's very hard to tell straight away what's going on. Eddie is a unique man in himself. He has a system that he very much believes in, and he that starts from the top, and he makes you all adopt that. I think Chris is very similar, but a lot of the other coaches had to do the groundwork. So I just think it's very positive. I think it's very exciting to work with him and the other guys. I think Sam and Douse and Ferg are very good coaches in their own right, and I think he's obviously seen that in terms of getting them involved in the team, and so's Alan Dickinson, who's been at Saints for a long time. So all those kind of guys working together is very positive, and I'm very excited to see what happens. And it's just about dealing with one game at a time. The luxury of being a sports fan is you can live and breathe through your team and go completely mad when they lose and go completely mad when they win, and think the whole world revolves around chasing a rugby ball or hitting a ball or doing anything. But us sports people actually doing it have to just stay quite level-headed, very professional, and try to just do our best. And I think with this side, I've been massively impressed with the determination, the work ethic, how quickly the guys are prepared to ramp physicality up.
I think Courtney was saying that he was out a lot last season, and he said it actually gave him a lot of headspace to realise that when you're in this kind of team environment where everything's kind of done for you, and everything is managed and everything is on a system, that when you actually end up leaving that, you kind of realise that you've become a little bit institutionalised. Is it something that happens to rugby players these days?
I think I've been institutionalised from the very first moment. I started boarding when I was 10, and I finished kind of when I was 18, and I went into a team sport for 17 years, and I've been 17 seasons. So I'm as institutionalised as they come. However, I try not to take anything too seriously. I want to be the best rugby player I can be. My life is about doing that, but I've got a lot of stuff going on outside of rugby that I really enjoy, and I think you have to have a work-life balance. I don't think it's healthy for anyone to be solely rugby focused. I remember when I first kind of started playing, I took lots and lots of criticism from old coaches and old players, emphasis on the old, who were saying, it's just doing rugby, don't worry about that, don't worry about this. Now the whole operation of the RPA, along all the other amazing stuff they do, is to get players to have broaden their horizons and do things outside of rugby. So at the risk of sounding a bit like Alan Partridge, I have had the last laugh, essentially. Not that I'm going to guarantee any kind of success once I finish playing, but I think all of that is important, to have that independence. And I think especially if you're injured, like Courts was not involved, I was out for 8 months. If I didn't have the stuff outside of rugby, I would have gone completely mad. And I think it's important just to remember that we are very privileged to do what we do. We're very lucky to do what we do. Saints has some of the best facilities of any club I've ever been to, so it's a high level of professionalism. But you've got to be self-motivating. You have to kind of be able to stand on your own 2 feet, and you have to take care of business yourself.
Your public, your kind of brand Haskell is definitely...
That doesn't exist. That was made up by an old coach of mine who was very bitter because I left Wasps first time round, and lots of people have run with it, and it sadly doesn't exist. I would like it to exist. If I was a brand, I'll be charging you a lot of money to speak to you, but as I'm not a brand, I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart. So sadly it doesn't exist.
So brand Haskell?
No, it doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. If you want to go with anything, it's James Haskell Health and Fitness.
So James Haskell Health and Fitness.
Yeah.
So you still got, essentially, be serious about rugby?
Well, I'm always serious about rugby. I came to Saints because I wanted to get into the World Cup squad. This will give me the best platform to do that. This will be the best platform to learn, to get better. The back rows, there's 6 or 7 players. 7 doesn't go into 3. Doesn't matter how dyslexic you are. And you've got some top quality back row there. And obviously my position, I play kind of across the back row, but Jamie Gibson was the players player or was nominated. He's fantastic. You've got Heinrich Brousseau, who's injured, but he's a world-class 7. You've got Lewis, you've got Tamana, you've got Mitch Heedy, you've got Paddy. All these guys are raring to go. So my priority is to fight for my place in here. And if I'm not good enough and don't play well, then I won't be involved. And that's as serious as I'm taking it, really.